So yeah, so you would be able to like kind of, this is I just have a kind of the dashboard customized. So dashboard, there will be like kind of, uh, add apps and all that. So you can basically, this is a kind of the custom board that I'm looking at. Okay, so if I would be so in there add apps, so there are like different apps. Okay, so you would have this custom board in your basically, right? So in the my dashboard, add app, and then custom board. Okay, so if you will add this one, and then you would be able to like view this. But this is, it is just a tool where you can see the requirements like in many different ways. So whatever you want to put that on there. Okay. All right. So okay, user stories. Crossworks release status.
Okay, I got the custom board. Now I can see that.
Right, right. Now you got it. Okay. So you will like explore that tool. It has many kind of different ways of kind of showing. Okay. So and this is just like the board, but the most important thing for you as a BA is to basically like you create the this backlog of the user story. Okay. So in there, there is a in a plan. If you will go on the top, there is a backlog, plan backlog. So as a BA, you create this backlog. Okay. So backlog is what? These are the requirements basically. Okay. So you create these requirements and the requirements in Agile. So this is basically like Agile way of doing it. Okay. So in Agile, you document the requirement in form of user story. Okay, for example, like for this, there are around basically you can say 20 user stories for this product. Okay, and user stories are they start with the US, the user stories, and defects they start with the DE, defect. Okay, so here you have around mm, and this is just a drag and drop functionality. So 22 user stories, if there would be not any, yes. So there are 21 user stories basically in this backlog. Okay, so and you just create that user story. So we will like discuss those further, but before, let's go back to our understanding of agile and waterfall. Okay, so in waterfall, as you know, understand the role completely. Okay, that as a BA, how you work in waterfall. Okay, so you work along basically like the phases of the SDLC, software development life cycle, or methodology, or waterfall methodology. Okay, so first phase is analysis. You do business analysis, you participate in system analysis. Okay, and then development phase, then you work with the during the development phase, help the development team understand the requirements, answer any question they have about the requirement, and then help the testing team to get ready for testing by helping them to write their test cases. based on the requirements, and as they do the testing, then help answer any questions that they have about the requirement. Okay, and when the testing is done, software is ready to release, and then conducting user acceptance testing, and everything is happening in cascade manner, like one step after the next. The next step cannot happen until the first step is complete. So that is waterfall. Okay. So this is the approach or strategy or framework that our software development life cycle, which is called traditional life cycle or waterfall. So that is the BA's role in traditionally working on any project. But if you are a BA and you are working on the project, but they have employed agile basically a development life cycle. Okay, they are following agile, not waterfall. How your role will basically look like? Okay, and what is the difference between agile and waterfall? Okay, so first thing that we discussed that in as in agile, things are being done in iterative fashion. Okay, so agile, there are basically iterative methodology. Iterative, what is meaning of iterative? So that means instead of they like for the whole product, they build it in chunks or iterations. Okay, or simply you can say in simple words, in pieces. Okay, instead of doing end to end. Okay, for example, there are 20 features, say 20 features in this product. Okay, so in waterfall, they will do the analysis and they document in detail all 20 features, like requirement analysis done. And then they will have the solution for those 20 features in the solution analysis, system analysis done. And then they will the development will team will start from 1 to 20 features solution built, and as it is like from start to end done, then they will push to the testing. Then the testing will do end-to-end testing of those features, and then those will be available. And if we will put those on basically timeline, it might take 11 months to get to the state of UAT, or like say the UAT getting done. If it will be like 2 month, 7 week, 8 week requirements, and then 6 weeks development, to 6 to 8 weeks the development, then 2 to 4, and then again will be like 4 months for development, so 8 months, and then 3 months for testing. Then it will be 11 months to, then they would be, the customer would be able to start the user acceptance testing, and in other words, they would be able to see that product. So that happens in the traditional. So this was causing a lot of trouble for basically the customers, because requirement does changes with time. Okay, So, and sometimes the requirements are not documented the way the business is was asking. Okay, our business didn't understood what they were asking, and then as they will so basically they were asking for a bicycle. Okay, what they delivered was tricycle, but after 9 months when they saw that this is a tricycle, then they started UAT. Then they will, okay, all right, then they give them the feedback, hey, we were not looking for a tricycle, we were looking for bicycle. Then converting that tricycle to bicycle will take another 4 5 months. So basically the extra cost of that work, that you can say overwork, it will turn that basically projects to 15 months instead of 10 months, and sometime, and also inflate the budget too, because the whole team has to again work, because whatever the change been asked, there will be again analysis, design, and then development and the testing the same. Okay, so then a new methodology was introduced, in which they said, instead of jumping on all features, just start with most important one. Okay, so say instead of 20, just start with 5. Okay, and then all other, they put time box or iteration for 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so in which you pick up any features out of the most important, and within 2 to 3 weeks or 2 weeks cycle, 2 week iteration or 3 week iteration. So usually in most of the organization, that is just the 2 week. You basically build the end-to-end feature. So maybe first 2 week iteration, and we also call this like sprint 2, is we call this sprint time box or iteration. Okay, and what is that? It is just the cycle of 2 weeks. Okay, so here you have 5 features, and maybe in first sprint or first 2 week, you just picked up feature 1. Okay, and for the feature 1, the whole things will happen. Analysis will happen, design will have, development have, testing will happen, and at the end of 2 week, the feature 1 be ready for user to use. Okay, and then will be like the second sprint second. Okay, in sprint second, my team will pick up like 2 features, feature 3 and feature 4, and they deliver that feature by end of that sprint. Okay, so and then likewise sprint 3, they will have feature 5 and maybe feature 6, and they will deliver. Okay, so far, like, it will keep going on until all the features are being delivered. Okay, but here the business would be able to use that feature after just 2 weeks, after first sprint or first iteration. Okay, and till the project will end, business will be able to, and even they will start getting the value of that. For example, if they are building the say like a online store, if they will build by this way, waterfall traditional way, then they have to wait for kind of 11 months before it will go online. Okay, but if they are basically like building in agile way, which is iterative method, then it might be like online after like a couple of sprints. After first sprint, it can go on online. Yes, only there will be like maybe just two products or three products that they will be selling online, but those would be kind of most in demand products. Okay, or those would be most in demand services or the features that the business offers. Okay, and every other weeks they keep adding. So if that is basically like so that means that they will start getting the value since very kind of the beginning. So the value curve in like agile, it will start basically right from the they will start getting the value since from the basically just first month, and till the end of like on 11 month they will have a huge chunk of value already getting delivered, and the tool is already being in use, and the things are getting, so they are providing feedback if anything basically happens, like they didn't like that feature and the feature is like not what they were looking. So what will be the loss will be just 2 weeks. Okay, and that doesn't happen also because the uh, um, business or the the stakeholder, they are getting feedback every uh, sprint. They're getting the demo every sprint. Like whatever the team will build, they give the demo in every sprint towards to the basically stakeholders. Okay, so it's very rare that they will it might like initially they thought they needed it and but they build it, but they said later on thought that it's not what they were looking. So let's like kind of this is instead of this give us this. Like if there will be like they bicycle and you do a tricycle, that will be okay. All right, so let's change it in the next sprint. So next sprint means next 2 weeks you will have, so your loss will be kind of minimum. Okay, but the value would be maximum. And if we will draw the value graph for the waterfall, so this is basically 11 month you can say mark. This is 11 month. Okay, and this is uh 1 month. Okay, and this is value. Okay, and this side is time. So for when if it would be like waterfall, when you will start getting the value, probably it would be just like that. So your initiation point will be kind of after the 11 month. For whole almost a year you didn't get any value out of that, but here still the project is completing in 11 months. Okay, but you are basically getting the maximum value in when it is like it is getting done uh, in agile. Okay, but here your value is kind of the still zero at 11 months. It will may increase after you release and they will start using, but not kind of this like you haven't got this value. Okay, so that's basically like the reason, and also other basically reasons that if they didn't like this, and then it's kind of instead of 11 it's increasing the time to get, because the customer feedback is not there early. The business feedback is not there because they cannot see the working software. Here they can see the functionality right after basically the first sprint. They can see the feature right after first sprint because that is shippable ready. Okay, so this is a kind of a comparison, apple to apple comparison of both methodologies. Okay, so let's go back how the work is being done as a role of a BA. You understand how the you do in like waterfall, in agile how you do. So in agile we talked about that there is basically like iterative method, and iteration is 2 weeks long. Like one iteration is 2 weeks long, and that means like 10 days. 2 weeks, Monday to Friday, Monday to Friday, 2 weeks, that is 10 days. So day 1 to day 10. So these are basically like the days in one sprint. Okay, and there will be like sprint after sprint after sprint. That would be like the how the team will work. Okay, and also in waterfall, the team has is consist of the business analyst, system analyst, and all those folks, right? BA, system analyst, developers, QAs. Okay, and here the team consists of 3 roles. One is the product owner. So product owner is usually one person, and a business analyst. So product owner is one person who is a representative of the stakeholder. So there is only one stakeholder in Agile, and that is the product owner. Okay, and the BA work with the product owner. So BA and the product owner, they are the team. Okay, and then there is a scrum master. There is an old project manager over here. There is one scrum master. Okay, and then there is a development team, and development team has they are like a 5 to 7 person people, which has like a developer, QAs, data analyst, everybody included in that development team. So this is called Agile team. So in Agile team there are 3 roles: product owner, BA. Okay, and that is one role. So Agile BA and the product owner, that is one role. Okay, and then Scrum Master, that is another role, and the development team, that is another role. And Scrum Master is usually one person, and product owner is one person, BA is one person. Okay, and the development team, they are a developer, QAs together, and they are 5 to 7 people. Okay, so now what are the role of product owner? So product owner role is, you can say, product owner role is just like a traditional waterfall BA. Plus, they have they are given authority to accept the work. Okay, so they have a decision authority to accept the work, whatever the team is building, like what the feature team build, they accept it. Okay, and secondly, they have basically can give the requirements. Okay, and can change the requirements. Okay, and can accept the requirement or work performed. Okay, so this is what they basically they have the authority. Okay, so they are basically the stakeholder representative. Just like traditional BA, they work with the stakeholders, and they get what feature. So what they do basically, they work with the stakeholder and they prepare a wish list, and that is kind of high level features. Just like that, if there would be like a, they ask the stakeholders that and usually in here the organization is like there is will be a product manager instead of stakeholders, and product manager will have kind of 3 to 4 product owner. Okay, so this product manager role is kind of traditional BA role. Means that is the person who will be actually working with the stakeholder, like as a BA, you work with the stakeholder. So that product manager will do that stakeholder analysis and will document basically the requirement. The only thing is the product manager will understand the high level business vision or high level requirement, and will have this like kind of a wish list what the business is looking. Okay, and they will also have a kind of a prioritized wish list that these are the 40 features that they are looking, and 20 most important are these. Then out of those 20, they will distribute like hey, product owner one, your team will build these like 5 feature, and product owner two, your team will did these like 5 features, and the product owner three, your team will build like these 6 features. Okay, they distribute, and then those three basically like product owner will go to their teams. So one product owner has one team. Okay, so this is like one team means agile team. Okay, and then that product owner, off of those 5 features, they will work with the product manager, and they and the BA. Okay, and they will prepare a backlog, means they will write down the user stories out of that high level features. Okay, they will prepare that user stories, and then they will prioritize that user stories. Okay, they will break down that user stories into basically those high level features into capabilities, features, and then functional functionality level user stories. And what they are basically doing, the ultimately they will prepare this backlog. So they will, as they are like writing those user stories, they prepare the this backlog. Okay, and then that backlog will be what the the Scrum team, they will start working on. Okay, so things are making sense or not yet?
Kinda, yes.
Okay, so question so far. Okay, so it was like so far what I have talked to you about. It's the background of the backlog, that how the backlog has been basically built. Okay, so as a BA, you work with the product owner. Okay, so product owner is your like one-stop shop, means that is the only stakeholders. So there is a no stakeholder analysis or identification of stakeholder or anything in the like agile. When they are working in agile, there is one product owner. You schedule meeting with that product owner, and you start asking question. Okay, all right, so what are the basically features that we want? And they will start giving you, okay, all right, the business, they want this feature, feature one, feature two, feature three, like maybe like 20 features they give you. And those they will give you in form of basically a wish list or one line statement that this is what I want, this is what I want, and this is why I want, and just kind of a list of 20 items. Okay, so that would be, and what you will do, you will just like kind of go over and write down those features. For example, like they said like, okay, all right, so they want a features where they can view all the social media pages. Okay, all right, and they want to see that like their address should view on the pay on their website. Okay, all right, so address view. Okay, all right, then this is what they want, this is what they want, and this is what, so all that would be you basically document it. Okay, and then that is the first step. When then that will be kind of precursor of your backlog. Then you as you have documented all those statements, that list of wish list, and you document in a specific format, like as a user, what I want and what is the objective, why I want, what I want and why I want. There, that's like each statement will be written in this fashion. Okay, so as you got done with that, okay, all right, this is all you want, these 20 like features. All right, so then what are the most important, like 10 most important out of those like features? This is called the prioritizing. Okay, because you will work only the most start work only with the most important, like with the business perspective, what is the most important features that you want first to be built, and you start prioritizing with the product owner. Then product owner does like prioritize. Okay, all right, the first I want this, and the second I want this, and third, fourth, for what is that? So to rank those like the features. Okay, as you rank those features, then for each feature you basically pick up that feature. Okay, open it, and then you will like, okay, all right, so what is the would be the acceptance criteria for that feature? Okay, so what will come under this feature? Like under this feature they will, okay, all right, so this I will want to have that social media. Which social media? Is it LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, Twitter, and whatever will be, they will, okay, all right, LinkedIn. All right, so which LinkedIn? Do you already have like the LinkedIn that you want to? And what would be the Facebook? And similarly, like all those basically criteria on which this ask will be considered like accepted, that fulfilled, you will ask and you will document it. And if you will feel like that is like not a one functionality, in fact multiple functionalities, then you will break down that user split that user story into basically two, with the consent of the product owner, when you feel like, okay, all right, it's a too big feature. Okay, so we, because you are asking also the social media, but you are also asking something else to see too. So we keep social media in one story and the something else into other. So let's like split it. Okay, all right. So that way basically like you split that requirement into multiple two, if it is like kind of a big requirement. Okay, so and as you got done maybe like create 10 user stories, went through like 2 3 features. Okay, then the basically agile team, they can start work. Okay, so their work will be, so in agile there is a scrum master and development team. They take that requirement, the user stories that are ready to start working on. Okay, but there is a certain criteria that the scrum master job is to basically conduct all events for these like 10 days. So there are 4 events that happens on day one. They do planning. In the planning they will they discuss the backlog that is ready for work, and they pick up the feature that they can deliver in 10 days. Who do the pickup? The development team, who have to basically actually build. They have authority to pick up the work for their sprint. So Scrum Master job is to organize the meetings. Okay, organize the event, that is the sprint planning event. And then every day there is a morning sync up meeting. We call it daily stand up or daily Scrum. So that is a 15-minute meeting every day from day 10 to day 9, in which the team, they discuss basically like 3 questions: what they have done yesterday, what they are doing today, and if there is anything that is blocking their work, anything that is blocking their work. So if there would be anybody, any of the team members will bring up anything that is blocking their work, then scrum master will is the risk manager too. The scrum master will work with that team member. Okay, and remove that blocker for that team member so they can work smoothly. Okay, so Scrum Master job is to organizing these like the events, sprint planning meeting, daily stand up, and also sprint review, which is basically the demo meeting when the team demo the functionality that they have built in that sprint to organize those. And also there is another meeting that they do that is retrospective. By end of every sprint, they retrospectively like see what they did right and what they did wrong, and then they the scrum master put up an improvement plan for next sprint so they will not make that mistake next sprint. Okay, and so these are basically within the time box meetings, 4 meetings: sprint planning meeting, daily stand up, sprint review, and sprint retrospective. That is happening during the sprint. And Scrum Master and Dev team, they are working within this sprint. Okay. Then there is another meeting which is happening that is called the refinement meeting. Okay. So here, the development team, they only pick up the user stories which before the sprint has been discussed with them. Okay, and to do that, there is like kind of refinement meeting. So before the basically the development team, they start sprinting. First, product owner and the BA, they bring up their backlog and whatever they have documented, 10 stories or 15 stories or whatever the feature, and they go over with the team. So product owner basically explain the development team what is basically the ask in that user story, and the development team, which comprises of our developer, QAs, there. So all those technical folks who have to get together to build and test the any functionality. So they are part of development team. So product owner explain, not the BA. BA job is to sit back, and if there will be any change in those user stories, document that change. Product owner will work with that this development team. BA doesn't directly work with the development team, but the product owner does. Okay, so BA does participates in all the events, but their job is to basically update the user stories, update the requirement if there is any. Okay, so the product owner explain them, and then they consider it that these 10 user stories are ready to pick up into the work, and they basically put their in fact in the tool there are states for that user stories that will basically like if it is a defined or not. Okay, so for example, like user stories, yeah, here the schedule state. So defined will be only that they will put the user story in defined state if they are being discussed with the basically development team. Okay, if they are not being discussed, it will not go to defined state. Okay, and if they are not in defined state, then basically they will not pick up. So it's like the job of the Scrum Master to ensure that all the work in the backlog will be ready for the team to pick up. So Scrum Master will work with the product owner to ensure that. And how the product owner make the work ready? By doing the refinement meeting, and which refinement meeting is simply explaining the user story and requirement to the development team. Okay, so that is basically. So initially, like before that they start sprint, maybe like 1 2 3 days, like there is a continuously like a 4 hour 3 hours like a refinement meeting. Okay, because we need to refine the work at least for for 2 3 sprints, so that like the team will have enough work to start with. So before they starting a sprint, there might be 2 3 days like continuous refinement meeting. But BA will start working with the product owner, maybe 4, 5 or 6 weeks before the team will start sprinting. So BA will work with the product owner and build the backlog, maybe kind of for 8 or 9 week worth of work. Okay, so that out of that backlog, at least 2, 3 sprint worth of or 6 week worth of work will be refined with the team in the refinement meeting prior to starting the sprinting. But as the sprint start, so it doesn't stop. Like they did like one sprint, then the next sprint is gonna start on the day 11, and next sprint is gonna start on the day 21. So there will not be any gap. And during the sprint, there is a 4 hour time that is dedicated for refinement, where the team they work with the product owner and look up into the backlog to refine the story for future sprints. Okay, and the BA will keep working with the product owner and keep extending the backlog. For example, initially before the sprint start, there might be out of 20 features, like 6 features were basically laid on in complete user stories, and then those were refined with the team. And then every say sprint, 1 or 2 features are getting basically stories splitted or described, or uh, mm, and the backlog will keep extending. Okay, so that way, the backlog keep extending with the help of BA and product owner. And then every like sprint, the development team will start work as they are basically doing. They will have their sprint planning meeting, daily stand up, sprint review meeting or demo meetings, and then retrospective meeting. But your role as a BA, you start with the product owner, start building the backlog. First prepare that wish list. That is the list of user stories that will work as kind of the first backlog draft. And then pick up user stories one by one and detail those user stories with the acceptance criteria, that what would be the acceptance criteria of that user story. And acceptance criteria basically are the points which verify the ask in the user stories are met. And if that user story look or feel bigger, then based on maybe like when you are documenting the acceptance criteria, showing the example, like for example I given you in the previous the stories, that maybe that when you create that, it's like, okay, all right, so in say if this is like one feature that they want, like on their mobile app, they want that this would be on they want like a dashboard where they will have a certification page. Okay, so in the acceptance criteria, they defined, okay, all right, so they want like this, the certificate icon should be available on the the app page, and then when you click on it, should open the certificates. All right, so if it like feels bigger, and there are like 10 different certificates, okay, so you will, okay, maybe we need to like like classify these certificates based on what they are basically used for. If they are used for say developers, then you know developer certificate, and then tester certificate or product owner certificate, or something else like that. And then will be like further divided into, so we can basically create this is a big requirement, so we can split that requirement into like other requirement, where we will have basically like that certificates page. One requirement is just get certificate page, and then out of the second on get certificate page, BA certificates. then get certificate page, developer certificates. So something like that. So basically that is the idea. As you are basically doing the requirement and they are giving you acceptance criteria, based on that, you will understand that, if it is a big, and sometime you just like, if you feel like it's big, hey, isn't that kind of, the big, can we kind of divide it into multiple kind of stories instead of one, based on this, can we kind of transaction these items, and the product owner will say, oh yes, we can do that. That's in fact a better idea. Okay, so by that way, when you work with the product owner, you break down the requirements into multiple user stories. Okay, so that's like your role as a BA is to work with the product owner and document the requirements, but the requirement you will be documenting in form of user stories. You will break down the high level requirement into smaller or unitary requirement basically. Okay, so so that is like your role, working with the BA, working with the product owner, creating the backlog and helping the product owner to manage the backlog. The team will start utilizing that backlog user stories and start consuming that user story, and you will keep working with the product owner to keep the backlog extending, and so the product owner will be able to have stories for her refinement meetings. Okay, so, and during the refinement meeting, when you're sitting with that product owner discussing and giving answering the questions from the development team, if any update is happening in the user stories, in the acceptance criteria or anywhere, so you just document, as a BA, you just sharing the screen, and maybe product owner is sharing the screen and explaining, but you are updating the user stories. Okay, and that updation that you can basically happen in say, so here are the notes, like, okay, in a refinement meeting, these are the update points. Okay, so you basically take notes for each requirement that they are discussing, and later on you basically work with the product owner. Hey, in your product owner, in your requirement meeting with the product owner, and then, hey, what I noted for each stories, what the points. So let's like like tell discuss that which will go into the acceptance criteria, and based on your understanding of that, you ask the question, and they will basically like give you the answer, and you update the requirement, and that's all that basically you do as a business analyst. Okay, in Agile. So in Agile, you so now let's like compare the role of a BA in Agile as compared to the waterfall. Okay, in waterfall, you have to do the stakeholder analysis. In Agile, there's a one stakeholder, you don't have to do the analysis. Who does the analysis? That is basically product manager. Product manager is kind of above the role of a product owner. So it's kind of you can say chief product owner, who actually and their job is to document and give the requirement to product owner. And then the product owner, sometime product owner, they put those requirements into the basically tools like Rally or Jira, that what the organization is using, but sometimes they just have kind of on a maybe like Excel sheet or somewhere. Okay, so then you basically get that from them and start documenting into the tool, whatever the tool they are using. Okay, and start building the backlogs, so start creating the user stories, and then initially you just prepare the wish list, like one line user story, and then when you work with the product owner to like that wish list, basically prioritizing, and after you get the prioritize that wish list, then you work to detailed every user story. You doc and how you detail is you start documenting the acceptance criteria for that user story. You just ask the question that on what basis you will verify that you got this what you want, and they will, okay, I want to see that this two, so acceptance criteria will like come in under like with that. So all those points that need to be verified that the product owner got what they wanted, that would be in the acceptance criteria of that user story. And as you are kind of documenting the acceptance criteria, if look like acceptance criteria will show that if it is a smaller item or it is a kind of high level thing. If in acceptance criteria will be multiple things that are not related to each other, then you can ask the question, hey, I feel like this is like kind of more high level requirement. Can we break down based on this like kind of the same item would be like in one story, and based on those like the similarities or differences. So then you basically that's how you break down the user stories with the product owner and keep building the backlog. So this is what the main as a BA in the Agile, your functionality, your basically tasks are to build the backlog, keep the backlog healthy with the product owner, and then participate, in meetings with the product owner, whatever the product owner is attending, and in those meetings, your task is just to capture any change in requirements, change in user story. Okay, that and that's it. The other thing, the only you need to basically know like how the sprint happen and what is the team like agile team consist of product owner and scrum master, what's their role, and how they do, and what is a sprint and time box, day 1 to day 10, what are different like events that happen. Okay, so that you only need to know, that you will know that hey, in a sprint there are like usually like a 2 week sprint, 2 week sprint, there are 10 days, and usually on that day 1 there's like sprint planning meeting happen. What happens in that meeting, that you need to know. In that meeting basically scrum master conduct that meeting, and development team and product owner basically that are other participant, and uh, as a BA I you know work with the product owner team, so I attend that meeting too. So in that meeting, product owner explaining that this is what the most important features that he have in the backlog that he wants the team to build in the this upcoming sprint, and then the team and the scrum master, they look their capacity, that what is their team capacity and what they can build out of that feature, and then they negotiate with the product owner that hey, you said 3 feature, we can build only 2 feature based on our capacity. Okay, and they pick up those features from the backlog and take it into the sprint, and that those 2 features will become part of sprint backlog. Okay, and that's all happens in the sprint planning meeting. Okay, and then in daily stand up every morning, the whole team they come together, product owner, scrum master, and development team, and development team explains every like each member of the development team, they will tell you what they did yesterday, what story they did yesterday, what they are doing today, and if there is any roadblock or any blocker they have, which is blocking their work, so that they discuss. And if there is any question they have about the user story, they ask the product owner answer them. Okay, and if there is any change in requirement, any requirement happens based on that discussion, then the BA take notes to document that change, and later on remind the product owner, hey, in that today's stand up, they one acceptance criteria was changed, I put that under the in the notes of that user story. then product owner will put that change inside the user story. BA doesn't put that change. BA just document that in the notes. Okay, and then that's what BA do all 10 days. Just attend that 15-minute meeting and just doesn't have to do anything. Just uh, see if there is any change is being suggested and take notes for that. If not, then nothing. But as the team is doing sprint, BA is on the the sideline working with the product owner on the backlog, and that is basically BA's job. That every at least every week, 5 to 6 hours to 10 hours, BA is working with the product owner on the backlog, creating that user stories and acceptance criteria. Okay, and 10 hours of that and work. So BA would be working probably on 2 projects at a time minimum. Means like with 2 teams will be working with 2 product owners minimum, but it can be more based on the nature of that projects. If you are just meeting for you know spending 5 hours with one team, then you probably have 3 4 teams. Okay, because in uh, a week there are 40 hours, and there would be like at least 15 to 20 hours worth of work for you uh, for in the sprint. So 2 teams that are optimum, that is most common, that as a BA, like as a agile BA, you work with like 2 scrum teams at a time. Okay, so so role here you will see it's kind of pretty kind of shrink in agile. When you work as a BA in agile, your role is like you doesn't work directly with the development and other the team. You just work with the product owner. Okay, and you just work on the basically with the backlog, creating user stories and updating user stories. That's all that you do. You do participate other meetings too, but your role is just for the sake of updating requirement or capturing any change in those requirement mean user stories. While in traditional, you are basically working with the basically uh, stakeholders, and then you are working with the development team, testing team, solution team, and basically then user acceptance testing. Here you does as the team develop, uh, they like do the user stories, the functionality will be ready, and you will test it. Maybe like on day 10 you will do user acceptance testing with the product owner. In the morning of day 10 they will give a sprint demo, basically sprint review meeting. That will happen on day 10 morning. They will show all that functionality that been built. The product owner and you will have access to that functionality. So you and product owner, you guys will test that functionality based on that user story, and then the product owner will accept that work and close that user story, complete, basically accept that user story. So if you will see that here would be some user stories that are accepted. So the work that is basically like that is so work in progress. So these are the work that is in sprint, and this is the work that is they completed it, and they given the demo on the day 10. And as the work which is basically like they do PO and product owner, they do the UAT, then they pick up and they will move that work to accepted phase state. Okay, and that's how basically like it happens in agile. Okay, so the product owner will have authority to accept the work. Okay, BA and product owner, they both get together, and as on day 10 they take the demo. Later on, BA and product owner, they meet and they do the user acceptance testing for that sprint. Okay, so that's basically all for a BA role in the Agile. So any question from you guys? So if you will like, if you have worked in basically like, as a BA in waterfall, so you can see product owner, product manager role, you can easily perform that role. Product manager, what the product manager does, they have the stakeholder analysis and they document high level requirement. Okay, so that's what the product manager does. And then product owner role, you can perform the product owner role too. Product owner, what they do, they pick up basically the requirements from the product manager and they give those requirements to basically BA over here, that Agile BA. And though the BA will create user stories and acceptance criteria and everything. Okay, so they just have they build their understanding with the help of product manager, what they are looking, and they are giving those requirements, and detailing that basically like an acceptance criteria, and they work with the development team, answer their question, just like in the refinement meeting, in the daily stand up. Okay, also provide the feedback, just like the BA role, you work with the development team and the testing team. Okay, so here you can perform the product owner role too. Okay, and then certainly the BA Agile BA role. So there are in Agile, if you are a BA, you have performed this like a end-to-end business analysis. In traditional, your role is basically splitted into three roles, like product manager, product owner, and the business Agile business analyst. So you can say Agile business analyst is kind of the junior most role. Agile, Agile business analyst, then as they, get comfortable, they know they turned into the product owner role. Okay, and product owner role, they turn into product manager role. So product manager, product owner, Agile BA. So these are three roles in basically that is equivalent to a traditional waterfall BA. Make sense?
Yes. Siddharth, I have a question.
Yeah.
Like a product analyst working with the stakeholders.
No, product owner is working with the product manager. Product manager is working with the stakeholder.
Okay. Then he receives like high level requirements from product manager.
Right.
Like I say, if a product is in process and they have 6 high level requirements, is the BA is responsible for like to break down into like little features, or product owner will guide him like to break this feature into 3, break this high level tech requirement into 3 or 4 or 5?
Both are basically responsibility of the backlog is of product owner. Product owner holds the responsibility. Okay, so BA is a support to product owner to help creating and managing backlog. Okay, and it's like sometimes you as a BA, when you are like working with, you might be able to, and they're given the acceptance criteria, you might be able to have break it down. But there is another point where it can be broken down. That's the refinement meeting. Okay, because first you and product owner will meet and work on creating the user stories and building the backlog. Then that user story will again be discussed with the development with the development team, where you will have a developer, QA, and essays, architects, and everybody. Okay, they will ask the question, and based on that, sometime there might be creating another user story, because here you created all those technical user story will be created in the refinement meeting. Okay, so for example, like to deliver that functionality, hey, we need to get that database for to deliver this functionality. All right. So as a user, I want to get that database so I can, deliver this functionality. That will be that story title, and then acceptance criteria. So there will be stories written in the refinement meeting. All the technical stories would be written in the refinement meetings. Okay. Or
Sure.
sometimes they are just technical instead of a separate story, just in the acceptance criteria of that functional story will be written in there. But the whole purpose is like the story should be able to get done within that sprint. All the stories, one feature would be able to get done within one sprint, within 10 days. If it is bigger than that, then we have to split that feature. And the user story, for the user story, usually acceptance criteria, it should be able to get done within 8 hours or one day. If it is bigger than that, then we might need to split that into two. Okay, and who decide that? If it is like bigger than that, development team, when the refinement meeting happening. Okay, and if it feels like they are and in the refinement meeting, product owner is presenting the user story, development team asking question, and then you are as a BA, you just updating the user story. And if you feel like by updating, you feel like it's like getting bigger, or there are multiple things, then you can point out, hey, product owner, so, just a kind of, I was wondering that, is it like too big? Will that the team would be? So basically, the product owner will be asking that question to the team, as like more acceptance criteria will be added. Good product owner, they will be asking question to the team that, hey, would it be because there is another activity that the team, when they are turning the user story to defined state, they do, and that is the sizing the user story. So if they will like able to get done within one day, they will size it like one. If they are sizing it like 8, that means it's a too bigger. So there is a another basically kind of indicator when the stories needed to be split. Okay. So means if you are as a BA, you are not able to kind of split the user story, don't know if it is big or not small with the acceptance criteria, that's okay too. Because in the refinement, when refinement happening and the sizing will happen, then if it is like a bigger size, then it will be splitted into two. Okay. And you just help the product owner to basically keep the splitting, helping splitting that user story, or then basically updating that both user story that came from that parent stories.
All right.
Make sense?
Yeah.
All right, any question?
Can you show again, where we are writing these acceptance criterias in Raleigh?
Oh, so in Rally, okay, so what is your email? I'll give you access to Rally too. Okay.
That's Epic's email.
You can put any email, doesn't matter, whatever you are using. So okay.
AU Rahman 95.
So what is your AUR, your Gmail that you are using for marketing?
And just a second.
So I mean, now you will like use only that email. Put all your other email forward to your basically that email. So you will
Sure. AUR 70809.
70809.
J.
Okay, at gmail.com.
Yeah.
All right, and uh, and your role as product owner, and then get your sales editor, editor, editor. and then save and close, and then get you disabled, save and close. Did you get that email check?
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah, got it.
You got the email. Now you
Yeah.
will basically using your email, do the password, and then you would have access to basically the rally. So rally is just like a tool which you, and let me give you basically overview of the rally. In the rally, so there is a plan and the backlog, so and user stories. So there are multiple way you can go to. You can click on the user stories and then basically add user stories. Okay, so or you can basically go to the backlog and you will have these and add new item. Okay, and then in that you will have a user story or defect or what you want to basically a backlog, and then you will have a create with details. And if you will do that, then this is where you will basically write the title of the user story and description, and then there will be acceptance criteria, okay, of that user story. So then will be basically like show field. mm, so yeah, so this is basically you would be able to the description and acceptance criteria of that user story. And there is those user stories, even like there are multiple, if there is a parent to that user story, if those user stories are linked to each other, there is a lot of like so iteration is basically sprint. Okay, so there is a lot of stuff that other scrum master do or other team members do, but your job is to just create the user story, put the title of the user story, description, and acceptance criteria. That's it. And then note section that you will use on any changes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So that is basically, and other tools, they are kind of you know pretty similar too. Okay. For example, there's a one tool that is called uh, subscribe to update. To update vehicles. Login. All right. So there is. So other tool is Jira. Jira is just like that too. Okay, it's just kind of a different, basically, client, or you can get a different company tool, but it has the kind of the similar. The functionality is the same. There will be a backlog too. There will be user stories and all that. Okay, so so you can explore that tool. Maybe like create some user stories. Okay, play around with the uh, with that basically.
Okay.
Okay, so for example, like you will see that different people have created their stories, you know go through those user stories. Okay, all right, so any question?
So I got email, but email is a disability notification. Your
Disability.
account has been disabled,
Okay, all right. So I will.
and I didn't found any like credential for login and password.
No, the password that credentials you basically gonna create
Okay.
those credentials. So let me quickly. Disabled. All right, so check now. Did you got any? Okay. Any other email?
Yeah.
So you have to create that password. And you guys got the access rest of um, you forgot their password, check in the box. Okay, now you will get an email with the password instructions.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry. So Itham, did you got your email with the password instruction or not?
Yeah. No, I got it.
Itham, what about you? Did you got?
Not yet.
Okay, all right, yeah, this is what I was doing wrong. So, did this user password? Yes. No, you would have.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right. So you guys can play around with this tool, but this is just a tool. It's not a big deal. You can learn basically while you will be like using it. Okay. So what we will do? Okay. So we're gonna do one thing that so user stories. So MK, that would be Muiz Khan. Okay. So your
Yes.
user story one, your projects, create that user story and it would be basically assigned to you. And similarly, like, other like Sidra USA, your user story. So put your project, basically what the last projects you did, their requirement in these user story. Okay, and then we will basically work on that still to see. Though right now, the requirement that you have explained, that is kind of high level requirement, and we will work to get like break down that requirement into multiple user stories. Okay. So, and we will create our backlog basically. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So try putting your requirement just into like user stories. So how to do that? Go to the plan backlog and then add new items and here you will be work item type like user stories, and project definitely Agile, institute.net. This is the project. Here, your name and initial, like, mm, Ihtisham, Rahman. Okay, your basically land or lake project scope. That is, your one basically project.
Okay.
Yeah, and you can basically create with the detail, and you can put all that information over here, and then create. So if you will create, it will create, and if you will do create new, then it will create, and then open a new box for new user story. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
that would be basically it, and then I would be able to kind of see that who have done basically. Okay. So then I would be able to see that, what is the stories for Ehtisham and what is the user stories for, say Muiz. Okay. So whatever you will be there, we can filter it and see that the backlog. Okay. So you're gonna create your backlog basically.
Okay.
All right. And whatever you will create, it automatically, take up your ownership. Okay. That owner will be you, and then, but you can just, for the sake of kind of identification, MK, your first your name initial, and then put the user story. Project one, this was this one project. Okay. And see how you can split into multiple functionalities. Like what were the different functionalities in the one project you did as a BA. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So that would be your basically we are recreating that in Agile. Okay. So in Agile, these are the user, we create user stories, which becomes a backlog, and this serves as a kind of input for the Agile team to work on. Okay. And you work with the product owner is basically owner of that backlog, and he or she will give you the requirements for your basically user stories, acceptance criteria, details, and then you will update that, work with the product owner, and that's what we will kind of recreate. But what today we learned that how the BA role that in the from the traditional that so this traditional methodology that are being used in the industry since 60s, 1960s onward, that is a traditional way of doing it, like very kind of document heavy, very elaborative, step by step, and in a traditional more traditional project management way. Okay. And this is a modern methodology that started post 2008 onward. Okay. Agile methodology, and that is basically been evolved to this, like, instead of doing that all that together, you do in builds in chunks, in iterations, in sprints, 2 weeks sprints, and build the functionality and test it and deploy it. Okay. The more and this is compatible to more fast paced businesses where the requirements are changing. For example, like, all those retail organization, you see, like, every other day there is some deal coming, there is some like a marketing campaign coming, there is something else coming, that the things are very competitive, it's changing continuously, so they cannot wait to put everything out, because whoever will go to the market first will probably get more value, more benefit. Okay. So they all use like all hospitalities, retails, even healthcare, they use mostly the Agile methodology, but they still are the organization which used to do the waterfall in the past, and they within the organization they still have some of the component of the organization they are doing agile, and some of the component especially that's like more kind of related to finance and other like, so they're still doing the waterfall. So within the same organization, you might like work on some projects on agile, some project on waterfall. Okay, but waterfall is kind of way is shrinking. Okay, and agile is more kind of taking that space. Okay, because it's more robust and more productive. Productivity is high, customer feedback is high, and the market is competitive, so it is more aligned to competitive market. Okay, but you also saw that your role as a business analyst in traditional is evolved into basically three roles: product manager role, product owner role, and agile BA role in agile. So basically, you know you would be able to work as a product owner and agile BA without any gaining further skill or without any. Okay, but as you will have kind of couple of at least two projects, at least 1 year experience, then you can probably also go for product manager role too. Okay, because product manager role only because it falls like it has a heavy responsibility. It's if it is managing 3 teams, so anything goes wrong with the basically what the product owner is doing, ultimately it falls on the product manager, because he or she has to give them requirements. Okay, so nothing falls on the Agile BA, because the responsibility is the product owner's responsibility. Agile BA is just kind of easygoing guy in just work with the product owner, document the requirement and update those requirements and chillax. So that is kind of the easiest basically role. But the product owner, that role, it doesn't have a it has a responsibility because they're acting as a you know uh, kind of a representative of stakeholder, only stakeholder, and making decisions of that also have some other because product owner is working with the product manager. Okay, so I haven't discussed the role of a product owner yet, just the Agile BA. Okay, but later on we will like there would be some additional that how the product owner work with the product manager and what is their basically interactions, because product owner is taking the demos and accepting the work. He is also inviting the product manager or any other representative, the stakeholder, to take that demo from the team. Okay, so showing them that okay, this is being built, and also as it's been built, then with the large perspective, working with the other teams, product owners. Okay, so that what they are doing and what he is doing, dividing the work among them, and then synchronizing the work, so that if they need some functionality which needed to be built first, so they will who have to build first, they will build first, and then other will second. So it's kind of with the more product perspective, some role at like one role is at the team level, another role as a product level. Okay, so I haven't discussed the product level role yet, just the team level role, that how product owner answer those questions. So there are certain few kind of things that. Okay, so any question? There's a lot of information, so certainly I don't expect you guys like understood everything, but try to understand and make sense of Agile BA role and ask questions. Now, at least now you can compare basically apple to apple. Okay, and with multiple like sessions on traditional BA, that role is pretty much consolidated. Everybody understand that like how you work as a business analyst in the basically traditional environment, right? So any question?
Not really.
Okay. All right. So let me then. You want this scribbles that this little picture? I can share that with you guys
Yeah,
too.
that would be nice.
Okay, let me quickly. Yeah, I'll share on your WhatsApp then. All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I'll meet you guys tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Have a good day. Thank you.
Okay, Allah Hafiz.